Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane toys, My Hero Academia All for One. And this is the Platinum Chase variant. That means it's extremely rare to find. This version has the regular arm. They released an All for One within the past year, and he had this giant tumor-ass type arm. As you may know, All for One steals quirks from different heroes. He combined them all to make this giant, powerful arm. This figure still looks to be post-accident. He's got the breathing apparatus on his head, but he's in a regular suited body. I'm a sucker for suited figures, so when I found out they're making this Chase variant, I had to track one down. Unfortunately, I've never seen one of these guys in the actual stores. I had to resort to eBay and negotiate with someone to get this guy. So let's check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, McFarlane Toys, My Hero Academia, ages 12 plus. McFarlane Platinum Edition, All for One. The picture here is of the regular version, but this guy has got a regular arm and a regular suit. I like it. One side, you can see All for One sort of posed up. Other side, My Hero Academia. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case it helps anybody, but it's going to be the same barcode for the standard version. And on the back, here he is standing there with this giant arm. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't come with any traditional accessories, just the McFarlane display stand. So let's take a look at the figure. So this is All for One. He had a big fight with All Might. He got beat up pretty bad and was injured. He has to have sort of oxygen fed him through this mask. You can see it's got some tubes here. It's completely black with the gray tubes on the side. Looks pretty interesting. You can see tubes going up to the top as well. My understanding is his eyes and nose are completely gone and covered with scar tissue. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, hands look a little big. It's a general suited body, and I love that sort of stuff. It looks pretty good. This is what I was hoping would be the regular version and the arm would be the variant. But this is what we got. Here's a little bit of a closer look at his face. He has some sort of a helmet on. It's covering up his original disfigured face. He can't really breathe, so he needs assistance through this breathing apparatus. Pretty interesting. I think this could double up very good as a generic Batman villain. Some sort of mobster with a weird helmet on, weird little gimmick. Or maybe even somebody that Batman had hurt and is forced to use a mask, wanting revenge on him, becoming a little mob boss in Gotham. Now let's look at his accessory. He simply has this display stand, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, one peg for the peg holes on his feet, it says My Hero Academia at the bottom. Very thin, very basic. So let's check him out next to the regular release. The most obvious difference is the giant arm. I remember when I was first inspecting this figure, moving his arm to see if it has an articulation, and it pops off pretty easily. It gave me hope I could always arm swap something into this guy, but McFarlane did make that variant. The other differences, so take these guys together, their feet, their legs, exactly the same, pantsuit, then we got their torso, it's identical, this arm's identical, notice how big the hand is. Obviously, these arms are quite different. You can see all the little arms, this giant tumor-esque arm with the spikes coming out. I would not want to get punched by this thing. Their heads are considerably different. It's like this guy's here is in the middle of fighting, his mask sort of ripped open, the antennas are bent. This is like the normal version. Really makes me feel like this should have been the Chase variant. But they both look very cool. You don't really see McFarlane too often giving you a completely new sculpt for a Platinum Chase variant. Typically it's just paint variants. So pretty cool here. I like it. I definitely like having both these guys. I've also heard there's an upcoming All for One versus All Might 2-pack, and I'm really curious if there's going to be any differences to that All for One release. So I was also very curious how the head is attached. The fact that it's a sort of helmet type thing. Curious how the neck is, and curious if you could pop a different head on this guy and have a suited McFarlane figure. Let's check that out. So I went ahead and heated up some water, dipped him in, pulled off the head. Interesting to note, the peg is inside the head, not the neck. Probably could be switched. But his neck here, everything looks good, but his neck is in white, not in flesh colored. And so now to see how it'll look with another 7-inch scale figure's head on it, I took this unmasked Flashpoint Batman. Going to put Thomas Wayne's head on this All for One's body. Here's the head just sort of sitting on there. It looks like he has no neck, as the neck is white, and it almost looks like it's part of the shirt. The body looks a little too big for this head as well. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and compared it with the standard release, now let's check out his height. And he is a big boy. From bottom to top, sitting at about 7.4 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 19 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down just a little bit there. Can't really tilt from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint, can't really see it, it's under his jacket. Just going to be increasing the range of motion here a little bit. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrist here can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got sort of no body under here, very soft. You can see I sort of squish it in there like that. Can rotate around, go forward and back. Ball joint here. Legs go about this far. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation, very, very minor there. Forward about that far, back like that. Double jointed knees. And then his foot here, you can go up and down a little bit. Can rotate, can tilt and rock a little bit as well. And he has toe articulation. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures. Here's the Platinum Chase variant of All for One, next to the standard release of All for One. I know I've said this a couple times in the video, but I really do wish that the regular suited one, the Chase variant, was a standard release, and the Tumor Arm was the Chase variant. For my personal uses, I would love to have a few more of these suited bodies. Here he is, next to a couple of other recently released figures that have respiratory or breathing apparatuses. We've got the battle-damaged City Hunter from Predator 2 by NECA on the left, and on the right we have McFarlane's Mortal Kombat 11 Cabal, both of which have masks to assist their breathing. Now let's check him out next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect and work my way smaller. I'm going to include as many suited figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some McFarlane video game figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then with some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, with some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, he's a pretty cool figure. He's big, he's a good 7-inch suited body, and I like that a lot. His articulation's pretty good, double jointed elbows and knees on a suited figure is not that common. Hands a little oversized. Overall, I'm very happy to add him to my collection. If I were to rate this guy, I think I'm going to give him a solid 7 out of 10. Good figure, not great, and annoying that he's a Chase variant. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.